This is South Carolina at number 1 Georgia at 3:30 p.m. This is the CBS game of the week. You know, CBS on SEC game of the week. I'm not looking forward to having to listen to Gary Danielson for 4.5 hours, but it is what it is. Georgia does not look like their normal selves. They are slow early in games on offense and on defense. Obviously, we have a brand, and these are kind of the excuses, if you will, but I mean, it's just the truth about what's happening. We got a brand new offensive coordinator. We have a brand new quarterback. A lot of our backs are hurt. A lot of our wide receivers are hurt. And a lot of our guys are just brand new, so they're still trying to figure out the scheme. Does Mike Bobo really have what it takes in this game against South Carolina and on games down the road? I tell you what, we are about to find out. We sputter early in the first quarters of games, and then this year, and then all of a sudden we just break out. We scored 31 points in the second quarter against Ball State. South Carolina, they're really trying to prove themselves after losing in week 1 to UNC, and they're still slightly struggling against Furman last week. South Carolina, though, kind of like App State in a way, not really, but kind of. They have the ability to upset a team they have no business beating at least one time a year, i.e. Tennessee and Clemson. This usually happens later in the season, though, but can it happen early? South Carolina did take number 3 Georgia to overtime in 2019, and they won between the hedges. Could we see this happen again, especially with Spencer Rattler at the helm? The ESPN FPI is Georgia 92%. The spread is Georgia by 27. So obviously the spread and the ESPN FPI are in 100% agreement here that Georgia is going to win, and I am right there with them. Yes, Georgia is going to win this game, but by 27? Absolutely not. Our defense is nowhere near as good as it was last year. Our offense sputters early. If our offense sputters early, South Carolina could definitely take advantage of that, and they probably will lead early. But can they really stay in the whole game? Are they that deep? We're going to find out. This is definitely a game that's going to test them. I have Georgia winning this game by 13.
So that's a bold pick. And what I'm going to say to you is that I'm right there with you. I like the Dogs. I think that Georgia wins this game. I would say by 21. I think they'll be just under the spread. You know, South Carolina is a team who, again, with all due respect, they do have the ability to be a team they have no business beating. However, they're a team who looked pretty subpar against UNC, who also struggled against App State, although App State gave them everything they had last week, of course, and then South Carolina struggled against Furman. And let's just be honest, no SEC team should really struggle against a team like Furman. No disrespect. So with that said, I got the Dogs in this one. It'll be a good weekend in Athens.
Now, I first off have to say, do not disrespect my FCS opponents, Furman. They are number 6, or were number 6 in the FCS. Speaking of, Western Carolina took down the number 7 Samford. Let's go. But anyways, you're right.
Go Cats, baby!
But like you were saying, you know, a team like South Carolina, supposedly in one of the best conferences in college football in the SEC, even though we've already stated right now they're not. They shouldn't be struggling against a Furman team. Georgia, on the other hand, like we've said, struggling in the first quarter, but then they figure it out all of a sudden once, you know, the clock hits 15 for the second time. Definitely got Georgia in this game. I don't think it's going to be a repeat of, you know, when the hedges got torn apart. I don't think 27 is very reasonable, though. I think it's going to be anywhere between the 17 to 21 range, only because, you know, currently just 27 seems to be too big of a score. It's more of one of those D2 teams going against a D1 team that you see over 27 points. Or it's just a matchup that has no right of being put together. So yeah, I got Georgia.
And I will just say with Georgia in that spread, I wouldn't be surprised if Georgia covered, but not because Georgia played well, because South Carolina did not play well. And I think a lot of this spread is based on last year, too, because we won so big last year. But, I mean, we had so much talent last year. And not to say we don't have talent this year, but I feel like this is one of those development years. Like, we still could go win it all because head coach Kirby Smart is head coach Kirby Smart. But at the same time, like, South Carolina will have to play the best game if they want to, even if they want to get it close. But, yeah, the spread is the spread.